They just stole a brain from their biggest rival. And nobody in San Francisco saw it coming. The defending champions didn't just replace their offensive coordinator. They reached inside the 49ers building and walked out with a key piece of Kyle Shanahan's machine. And if you don't understand why that matters, stick with me for the next few minutes, because this move could decide whether Seattle repeats as Super Bowl champions or fades back into the pack. The Seattle Seahawks are hiring Brian Fleury as their new offensive coordinator. Yes, that Brian Fleury, the tight ends coach, the run game coordinator, the behind-the-scenes architect who helped shape one of the most efficient offensive systems in football. And if you think this is just a safe, quiet hire, you're missing the bigger story. Because this isn't just about replacing Klint Kubiak after he left to become head coach of the Raiders. This is about identity. It's about evolution. And it's about whether Mike Macdonald just made the smartest gamble of his tenure. Let's break this down the way real fans do. First, the context. Seattle just won the Super Bowl. Not 10 years ago. Not in some nostalgia documentary. They just did it. Sam Darnold hoisted the Lombardi. The offense finished third in scoring in 2025, their highest ranking in 20 years. The defense was ferocious, balanced, ruthless. Then boom, Kubiak leaves. That's the nightmare scenario for a champion. You finally build the formula, and someone else pays your coordinator to walk away. So what does Seattle do? Panic hire? Promote someone safe? Play it conservative? No, they went straight into enemy territory. Brian Fleury has been with the San Francisco 49ers for 7 seasons. He didn't just pop up last year. He grew inside that building. Defensive quality control in 2019. Offensive quality control from 2020 to 2021. Tight ends coach from 2022 to 2024. And in 2025, run game coordinator added to his title. That's not random resume fluff. That's progression. That's trust. That's development inside one of the most creative offensive ecosystems in football. And here's what makes this fascinating. Fleury isn't a flashy former quarterback guru. He isn't a headline name. He's a systems guy, a detail guy, a structure builder. And sometimes, those are the most dangerous ones. Seattle considered in-house candidates. That's important. They didn't rush. They looked around the building. They evaluated continuity. But Fleury emerged as the name. Why? Because the Seahawks don't want to just keep scoring points. They want to stay unpredictable. Now let's talk tight ends. Fleury's recent expertise is not a coincidence. Elijah Arroyo, a second-round pick, had a quiet rookie year statistically. 15 receptions, 179 yards, 1 touchdown. That doesn't scream breakout star. But if you watched closely, you saw flashes. Route nuance, soft hands, separation potential. And now, he gets a coordinator who specializes in maximizing tight ends. That's not small. That's strategic. And don't forget A.J. Barner. 52 receptions, 519 yards, 6 touchdowns. Second on the team in receptions and receiving touchdowns. Seattle already leaned into tight end production. Now they're doubling down. You can feel the direction forming, right? But here's the real chess move. The run game. Seattle's playoff run wasn't just Sam Darnold suddenly becoming a movie script hero. It was balance. It was physicality. It was controlling tempo. Kenneth Walker III exploded in the postseason. 313 rushing yards for touchdowns, and he capped it off with Super Bowl MVP. But here's the tension. Walker is a pending free agent, and Charbonnet is coming off a torn ACL. That backfield isn't stable. So why hire a run game coordinator? Because Mike Macdonald understands something most casual fans ignore. Championship windows don't stay open because of vibes. They stay open because of trenches and structure. Fleury's run game background could be the glue that keeps this offense from becoming one-dimensional. And I'm going to say something bold here. This hire tells me Seattle is preparing for life after Kenneth Walker, even if they re-sign him. Because a true system doesn't depend on one running back. Now let's zoom out. Sam Darnold. A year ago, people laughed at the idea of him being the answer. lingering narratives, bust label, inconsistent past. Then 2025 happened. He didn't just manage games. He commanded them. He protected the ball. He made timely throws. He embraced structure. And that's where Fleury fits. He's not coming in to reinvent Darnold. He's coming in to support the ecosystem that allowed Darnold to thrive. Continuity doesn't always mean hiring the same personality. Sometimes it means hiring someone who understands the language of balance. And here's the rivalry layer nobody is talking about enough. Seattle just took a coach from San Francisco. In the NFC West. From a direct competitor. You don't think Kyle Shanahan noticed? You don't think that locker room noticed? This is personal. And it raises a fascinating question. Is Fleury ready to step out from under Shanahan's shadow? Because being a position coach in a genius system is different than running the entire show. That's the gamble. This is where the story gets spicy. Seattle finished third in scoring in 2025. That's elite territory. That's not easy to replicate. Defenses adjust. Film catches up. Coordinators get figured out. Now Fleury walks into a building with championship expectations. There's no grace period. There's no learning year. There's repeat or regress pressure. And Mike Macdonald knows it. Macdonald's defense is still ferocious. That unit will give this offense room to breathe. Field position. Extra possessions. Margin for error. But defending a title is one of the hardest things in sports. And here's where I'm going to open a curiosity gap for you. Because the biggest domino in all of this hasn't fallen yet. Kenneth Walker's contract situation. If Walker leaves, Fleury's run game creativity gets tested immediately. If Walker stays, Fleury must evolve the scheme so it doesn't become predictable. Either way, he's under the microscope. Let's not ignore his background either. Before San Francisco, he worked with the Miami Dolphins as a football research analyst and director of football research. That matters. That tells me he understands analytics, tendencies, data-driven adjustments. He also coached on staffs with the Cleveland Browns and Buffalo Bills. This isn't a one-stop resume. It's layered. Former college quarterback too. That perspective? It's underrated. Quarterbacks trust coordinators who understand how they see the field. And Sam Darnold's trust will be everything. Let me be clear. This is not a splash hire. This is a culture hire. Seattle didn't chase a headline name. They chased continuity with evolution. But evolution always comes with risk. What if Fleury was great because of Shanahan's umbrella? What if he struggles calling plays? What if red zone efficiency dips? These are real questions. And that's why this move fascinates me. Because it's bold without being loud. And sometimes the quiet hires reshape the league. If Fleury unlocks Elijah Arroyo, if AJ Barner takes another leap, if the run game remains top tier even with uncertainty, then this hire becomes genius. If the offense stalls, it becomes the pivot point of a missed repeat. That's how thin the margin is. Now let me throw this to you. Was this the right move for Seattle to defend their crown? Or should they have gone after a proven big-name play caller instead? Drop your take in the comments because this is the kind of decision that defines eras. And I want to see where you stand. As for me, I like the boldness. I like stealing from a rival. I like betting on system continuity instead of panic. But I also know the NFL doesn't reward comfort. Brian Fleury is stepping into the spotlight now. No more background role. No more quiet architect. Now he's the conductor. And the entire league is watching to see if Seattle just secured their future or handed their rivals bulletin board material. This season won't just test the Seahawks. It will test whether Brian Fleury was a hidden weapon or just a piece of someone else's machine. That's why this hire matters more than people think. And if you're a Seahawks fan, you should be excited and nervous at the same time, because that's what real contender moves feel like. This is NFLXposed, where we don't just read headlines, we break them open.